Pod goes, Droid goes, Mac goes, Linux goes, servos go, lights go, hydraulics go, dot matrix goes, and this go, keyboards go. But there's one sound that no one knows. What do the bots say?
This is madness.
Take my shiny metal ass.
I'm an android.
My name is Optimus Prime.
What do the bots say?
Danger, Bill Robinson, danger.
What do the bots say?
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
We are autonomous robotic organisms from
What
the
do the
planet
bots
Cybertron.
say?
Resistance is futile.
I do believe they think I am some sort of god.
Welcome to the Mr. Robots Podcast, a show about technology, trends, futurism, entrepreneurship, and lots more, with your host, Steve Favis.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? This is Steve Favis of the Mr. Robots Podcast. I'm going to try to experiment with a directed energy weapon detection contraption that was originally on, the website is called Targeted, actually it's over here, Targeted, Targeted Justice. I think the web browser's not, oh, there we go, Targeted Justice, this is the website here. There we go, Targeted Justice, there we go. All right, there we go, it's open. So this is a lot of citations and stuff regarding mind control and directed energy weapons and stuff like that. Directed energy weapons are a thing. Everybody is aware of the microwaves that are being used for crowd control and stuff like that. To the extent of how they're being used, some pretty wild stuff here. But as you can see, this is some of the stuff here. He's got a Patreon. You know, I'm willing to interview this guy if he's available. I saw some videos regarding him. His name's Richard Lighthouse. He has some interesting stuff. This is Richard Lighthouse here. I may interview him. So, just reading his website today, I said I might as well just go ahead and try this directed energy weapon detection device. So he has some flyers and stuff that says that or that claims that we are being hit. Some people are being hit specifically for some energy, specifically microwaves, and they are tracking people via cranium. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download some of his. I'm just going to show you some of his. I think it's. I don't know. I saw it earlier here. He has a flyer that basically says the back of the head is being targeted by these energy weapons. Not every, but well, actually, I think he says everybody. Believe it or not. Let me see if I can find it here. But yeah, this is targetedjustice.com, Richard Lighthouse's website. You can see there's some, I think this is it right here, actually. This is it says the back of the cranium. Try this. This is the target individual diagram. This is who they say he says they target people. Let me see here. Let's go. I'm going to start the save flyer. Let me see if I think this is it right here. That's not it. Well, the point is, he says, like, on one of these flyers that if you place your hand on the back of your head, you could feel sort of a snap or a click every maybe 60 seconds or something like that. So when I try that, I haven't felt anything yet. I've tried it multiple times. I haven't felt anything. But he does have a contraption here that by chance I already had all the stuff here to try it, and it's basically a bass amp. I have a large bass amp. He says just use a small bass amp, but the contraption's right here. I'm going to zoom in on. This is what I'm going to make tonight. I already have it here. I have a bass amp behind me. I have it mic'd, if you can see the microphone back there. So So it's just how to record microwave bullets from cell towers, okay? So small bass amplifier, I have a big one, so, it's more of a live amp rather than a small individual amps for live play, basically. I don't have a piezo transducer. I think he says those are in guitar. Those are in guitar. I have no idea what a piezo transducer is, but you don't need that. You just have the microphone here. It looks like he has 1 gallon of water. I don't have a gallon with me right now. I have a quart. So it says you have to increase the frequencies, which are typically between 100 to 400 hertz. I have Adobe Audition with a mixer here. We should be able to, if it does record something, we should be able to enhance it with Adobe Audition. So these microwave bullets are directed at the side of your head 24/7. The question I have is, how would they know the location of your brain? I'm sure it does emit some sort of frequencies or whatever. I know there's some sort of the body does have some sort of bioenergy. I'm gonna say they call the Buddhists call it something. There's a biofield, an energy field. All electronic devices or whatever they emit some sort of field, some sort of EMF field. The heart does, the brain does, obviously. So, I guess if they know where that's at, that they can track it. I mean, this would be a lot of data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a microphone in the in this water here, but I'm going to show you that the bass amplifier does work. So I'm going to plug that in. I have to disconnect this. So okay, here we go. I'm going to plug the bass amplifier in first. I have a bass guitar here. A lot of cables. Okay, so here we go. Plug it in now. I'm gonna turn this on now. Hopefully it's not too loud. And of course, to test the bass, you have to have a bass guitar. Let's see. I'm gonna turn it up just so it's enough to hear it. Okay, there's a bass. Turn up just a little bit louder. Okay. All right, our bass guitar's working. I'm going to turn it off so I don't really loud popping noise when I disconnect it. And I'm gonna put a microphone. I have a microphone here. It's a wireless microphone. So I'm gonna put a wireless microphone in this thing now, and I have one here. So this is it's a wireless one. Okay, here we go. I think this is late. Oh, shit. Okay, so I'm going to turn the microphone. Actually, I'm going to turn it. Should be able to hear it here. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Okay, that's on. We turn this on here. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, it should be working now. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Okay, there we go. Now that the bass amplifier is working. So there's sound coming. I'm going to turn it up kind of loud because if there is some sort of sounds happening or whatever, it's going to be kind of loud, I think. Hello, or it's going to be quiet. I imagine it to be quiet, I'm guessing, so. Hello, 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 hello. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I think that's loud enough. I'm going to turn this microphone down a little bit. It's getting a little hot there. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, it's a little too hot. Okay, cool. All right, so I have a little bit of water here. It's not a gallon. Okay, water test. So we need to have the microphone keep it dry. So I have something, a water balloon to keep it dry. I'm going to put it on now. Okay, I'm going to take the lid off this thing. Hopefully I don't spill the water. Open up this water balloon here. Keep putting the water balloon in the microphone. Putting the microphone in the water balloon. Okay. Okay, the water balloon is going to go into the water now. Okay. The microphone's going to go in there. Hopefully the okay. I know the water balloon is something ridiculous, but hopefully it stays dry. Okay, let's see here. Okay, we can hear the microphone through the we can hear the microphone in the water, so let's see here. So supposedly if you put this if you put this by your head, place your head beside the jug after recording the thump sounds. It is helpful to filter and enhance the bass frequencies, which are typically 100 to 400 hertz. Okay, I'm gonna, I don't need this audio here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch it over to Premiere or Audition. I'm sorry, Audition, and we're gonna see if we can see this on the mixer here. So there's Audition now. Okay, so supposedly when I put this near my head, plus 30 dB. Okay. Let's see here. So supposedly when I put this near my head, there should be thumping sounds. Okay, I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to put it by my head. I do have a climate controls going on. Hopefully the microphone's not picking that up, so I'll try to be quiet. I guess they said the frequency is a regular interval. So I'm gonna mute this microphone by my face here, just so I could hear the microphone by my head. Okay. Actually, you know what? I forgot to record, so I'm actually going to record this. There is something warbling on my mixer here, so I'm going to try to go to Premiere here, and I'm going to open this up a little bit, and then I'm actually going to hit record this time. It was juggling or bumping up a little bit, so I'm going to mute my microphone and try this again with a recording this time. I'll try to increase the volume on it a little bit, okay? See if we could hear something. Okay, that should be enough on the recording. Let's go ahead and stop that recording. Let's go ahead and analyze and see if it picked anything up other than the HVAC. I'm gonna need headphones for this. My headphones are right here. All right, let's look at this waveform. Let's see how this looks. I'm gonna go ahead and check this whole waveform out. Okay, so this is obviously I bumped it a few times. I'm gonna do the maximum waveform here. So these are the bumps here. I'm gonna try to amplify the ones here. Actually, I'm not gonna back it up. Okay, here we go. I'm going to amplify this and see if we see anything in the waveform. Okay, so obviously these are grotesquely really, really loud now. It's going to be very loud on your speakers if I play this right now. I'm going to zoom in on the waveform a little bit. Let's see if we can see an interval that's regular. I'm going to amplify it even more. Extend this waveform out a little bit. So if there was Let me amplify it even more. So if there was some sort of regular interval, we'd see this waveform. We'd see a regular pattern here. I mean, the distance between these is not very much. I'm not even going to play this because it's going to sound like hell. But the pattern here is not, I don't really see anything like, let me zoom out a little more. Actually, this is as far as it goes. The pattern, if you look at the, I don't know if you can see my mouse here. Yeah, you can. The pattern here isn't necessarily, I'll increase it even more. The interval isn't, I don't see any, I see just noise. I don't see any regular intervals. Like we'd be able to see like intervals that were regular, like these things right here. I mean, assuming it is regular, I mean, if there is a regular interval. But there would be a regular interval in this waveform somewhere here. I don't see anything that's regular. It's these over here. I don't see anything that's going on a regular interval here. But this is only maybe it's about a 2 minute sample. And the thing is, I do have my air conditioner going on here too, so that could be down to the noise. I guess if we try listening to it, hopefully it won't be too loud. Let me try. I'm gonna take my headphones off. This may be loud on your speaker, so let me see how it sounds without blowing my eardrums out. So you may need to turn your volume down. Yeah, it's gonna be loud here. Another crash. I'm not hearing anything, so yeah, I'm not hearing anything. That's about all I could do with Premiere anyway. The 400. Yeah, I don't think I'm not hearing anything. We would be able to hear something, or there'd be a regular interval if that's what he claims. So, I guess maybe I'm not targeted or whatever. Maybe, although he does claim that we're all targeted or whatever, but I'm not seeing any waveform here that's repeating pattern basically. So I'm going to take a small break and then I'll cover some news basically. But thanks for sitting through this directed energy weapons detection test according to Richard Lighthouse. So maybe I will ping him out on Twitter or something like that and see what he's doing. I'm going to take a short break here.
iPod goes, Droid goes, Mac goes, Linux goes, servos go, lights go, hydraulics go, dot matrix goes, and this go, and keyboards go. But there's one sound that no one knows. What do the bots say?
This is madness. Bite my shiny metal ass.
I'm an android.
My name is Optimus Prime.
What do the bots say?
Danger, Bill Robinson, danger.
What do the bots say?
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
We are autonomous robotic organisms from
What
the
do the
planet
bots
Cybertron.
say?
Resistance is futile.
I do believe they think I am some sort of god.
All right. This is Steve Favis, and this is the Mr. Robots podcast. I just got through trying out Richard Lighthouse's directed energy weapons contraption, basically. So no results. I didn't get anything. I didn't hear anything, and I don't feel my hand clicking or snapping when I put it on the back of my head. So anyways, thank you for watching that. I'm going to go through some Epoch Times news. Again, I love Epoch Times, or Epic Times, however you want to pronounce it. I like calling it Epoch. So let's see what's going on in the headlines on Epoch Times, basically. So we'll start with local U.S. politics here, and it looks like this guy, the Buffalo shooter. House passes bill on domestic terrorism, hate crimes. This is a really, really sad story. This guy was supposed to have a lot of red flags as far as potential for violence or whatnot. So I guess he did make threats towards a mass shooting before or something like that. So the U.S. has passed a House bill to authorize dedicated offices within the U.S. federal government departments to monitor domestic terrorism and hate crimes. H.R. 350 requires departments of Homeland Security, DHS, Justice, DOJ, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, I almost said instigation, Federal Bureau of Investigation to monitor, analyze, investigate, and prosecute domestic terrorism, including hate crimes such as white supremacist-related accidents. Well, shouldn't they have been already doing that? Isn't that part of their job to take care of this stuff to begin with? Yeah, this is a terrible story, and my heart goes out to the families that lost their loved ones on that incident. It's really sad how stuff like this can happen. I think the guy had a lot of red flags. I think I did go through his manifesto, I guess, but I guess from what I heard, he copied it from. There's also a New Zealand mass shooter, I guess. He copied that manifesto, I guess. I don't think he really it was original thought. So this is just, I don't know. I don't know why we need HR 350. The DHS, DOJ, FBI should have. It's hard finding people like this, but. It's really tragic. This stuff shouldn't happen. But as far as the Second Amendment, this is the reason why we have to have firearms to begin with to protect ourselves. I mean, even I saw the video of this guy. Even if they would have called 911 when the first shot was fired, there's no way law enforcement could have got there. I think the security guard. I didn't see what the security guard did at the shooting. But even if there was multiple people there with a CCW or just regular conceal and carry weapons permit, it could have reduced the probability of it. I think a majority of these mass shooters are going to districts that are where there's no firearms allowed and stuff like that. So I think they're intentionally targeting places that where weapons aren't allowed. But the original purpose of the Second Amendment was to protect us from stuff like this. Basically, I mean, there was a time in American history where every household in America had to have a firearm and a tomahawk. It was standard issue. If you didn't have a tomahawk or a firearm in your house, you would get fined, basically. So just because of security reasons for your neighbors, for your home and stuff like that. So I think everybody is better off being in charge of their own personal safety and security. And I think people should be able to have CCW or whatever, assuming they meet the criteria or whatnot. But this is really sad, and they're going to use this obviously as an agenda to remove or get rid of our firearms. Historically, look what's happened to every society that has taken away firearms from the citizens. It's usually a rapid power grab. Khmer Rouge in Cambodia, Mao Zedong, I think Stalin, and also Hitler did the same thing too, basically. So they always took the weapons first, and then they had full control over the population, basically. So as American Yankees, we did have superior rifle technologies against the British, basically, and a lot of us were really good hunters or whatnot. So it was not an easy territory to take over, basically. So what else is going on in U.S. politics? Let's go to the U.S. Kind of a sad story there. What else is going on in U.S. U.S. news? J.P. Morgan, the shareholders just Jamie Dimon, Blinken announced U.S. home construction permits stall as mortgage rates rise. I think we're gonna. I don't see how the economy continue to heat up like this. I think the housing. We're in another housing bubble, obviously, and it'll be 2008 again, except orders of magnitude worse because we have the COVID supply chain issues. A lot of massive inflation. So there's a lot of stuff that we're at high risk for. So if you have I recommend everybody have emergency food and stuff like that. I don't think the supply chain issues are going to be just fixed anytime soon, basically. So just be sure to have some emergency food and stuff like that for your family. We're in some really, really tough times. I think Russia and Ukraine supply about 15% of the world's calories, and I think in like wheat or something like that. So we're already going through last year's food supply. I think there's about a year delay after food is manufactured until it reaches the actual consumers. So this year's planting season is pretty much done. I think China clamped down on exports of their food, and a lot of countries are clamping down on exports of their food because they're worried about supply chain issues with stuff too. There's still some random stuff that's missing out of grocery stores here. Obviously, baby formula is a hot one here. Locally here in Sacramento, I just check Instacart, and I still see it here, but other places are really short on it. So, really weird times. Monkeypox virus in Massachusetts after UK, Spain, Portugal cases in men. This is the first time I heard about this. The monkeypox virus. Monkeypox. A single case of the rare but serious monkeypox virus has been confirmed in Massachusetts in a man. Recent cases in the United Kingdom, Spain, and Portugal have been linked to men who have sex with other men. The U.S. Center for Disease CDC confirmed U.S. case after initial testing completed this Tuesday at the State Public Health Laboratory in Jamaica Plain. Monkeypox. It's kind of a weird pattern. There's one in Massachusetts, some in the UK, some in Portugal. It's interesting. Another virus coming out. Monkeypox. All right, let's go to the China tab, my favorite tab. U.S. charges 4 Chinese intelligence agents in plot to silence dissidents in America. This is a hot topic. So if you follow Twitter and you go through Twitter and you just follow any anti-CCP or Chinese Communist Party thread, and you could retweet it, and you could comment on it and just say, oh, that's interesting, or oh, that's terrible, whatever, And I guarantee you, 100% guarantee you that there will be pro CCP trolls showing up on that thread that you responded to, basically. So this repeatedly kept on happening to me on Twitter. I think there was a thread talking about just some bad stuff in Shanghai that was going on, suicides and stuff like that. And I was seeing some video of the lockdowns, and the men in Shanghai in white suits are just kind of just kind of forcing people to do stuff and locking them in their doors or their houses and stuff like that. But I just commented on it. I said, wow, like Shanghai seems to be turning into, Shanghai was a really nice city. It's a beautiful city. It looks like it's turning into North Korea pretty quickly, basically. And then sure enough, within 3 days, I probably got maybe 7 or 8 or maybe almost 10. I call them PLA or CCP cyber trolls, basically, that just got really defensive and very passive aggressive, basically, and commenting on the article and the fact that I commented on it. And I really feel like internally, the Chinese citizens, the mainlanders, are not supposed to have access to their network, or I'm sorry, to outside network, especially Twitter, Facebook, all the standard American social networks. They don't have access to it. They call it the Great Firewall of China, basically. I've commented on this before. I spent time in China, and the first thing that I did to use their free, when I use their free internet was, your firewall goes on turbo, basically, because their free internet comes with privacy issues, obviously. So it was just tons and tons of port access attempts. But on that note, they have, I call them PLA, People's Liberation Army, CCP cyber trolls that are going beyond their firewall. There's only a certain amount of people that are allowed to legally go beyond the firewall. And I guarantee you 100% that if you are going beyond the Great Firewall of China, it's so stupid that we have this, or that they have that. the Great Firewall of China. And I guarantee you, if you're in mainland China and you go beyond that wall with a VPN or whatnot, they know you're going beyond it. It's just a matter of time before they catch you. I mean, you can't hide your digital footprint at all. It's impossible. So you go on Twitter and you have these people that are not who they claim to be. They're not. They'll say they're like from Italy or something like that. They are not from Italy. I assure you that. But they are very defensive towards communist China, the Communist Party, basically. And I think Epoch Times mentioned this on one of the analysts. The military is basically an enforcement arm for the Communist Party there. So it's not like in America where we hire or we vote our chief law enforcement authority over, and he or she are voted by the people. So we choose our local law enforcement, basically. It's not the president. It's not the state, the state law enforcement. It's the chief law enforcement is our voted in sheriff, basically, which comes from Riva the Shire from England, which was at the time appointed by the king. But you get these people that are trolling you on Twitter, and it's like they're so pro-communist, and they start bringing up American issues, and on the surface they're not completely aware of what's going on here. And as a conversation or debate gets deeper and deeper, their translators don't seem to work as good, so it gets more I want to say nonsensical or whatever, and it just the conversation just gets really really weird, and they're not English they're not English speaking for sure. They're defending communism. They have no clue what it's like to be in America. They've never been to America. They probably never left the mainland. And it just stinks of PLA cyber trolls, basically. And it's really sad that you have to go on somebody else's social network and send these cyber trolls out there to defend or to reduce the chances of reduce the discourse or debate or at least a conversation between communism and a Western free society, basically. So I mean, when you go on these social networks, I guarantee you, if you want to draw them all you have to do is you just comment on a anti-CCP thread, and these guys pop up, basically. So they'll pop up all over Twitter, and it's almost like it's really sad. You know, I wouldn't go to a foreign country and just completely like try to shut people up about, you know, about their opinions or whatnot. But because they were coming here, I started trolling them back basically and getting into it with them. Of course, my account got restricted several times. I got my LinkedIn got restricted, so I have no LinkedIn access anymore. But if they're going to let these guys on there, it's not worth being on these networks anyway. So Wang Shujun, a naturalized U.S. citizen who was charged in March for conspiring to feed information about his fellow New Yorkers to the Chinese Communist Party. Wang helped to found and later served as Secretary General for the New York-based pro-democracy nonprofit Hu Yaobang and Zhao Ziyang Memorial Foundation, named after two former CCP reformist leaders. Yeah, it looks like he was spotting dissidents. The sad part is, it's like, I think the time I spent in China, most of the mainland Chinese people I met, they weren't. I want to say if they were just kind of, if you could have a good discussion with them, you know, obviously I didn't speak Mandarin, but if you have a good discussion, the ones I spoke that spoke English, they usually went to a foreign studies university. The great part about it is once they start learning English, the kind of the discourse and stuff kind of starts getting in their head as far as Western values and stuff like that. They kind of I think they learn our insights and our perspectives a little bit better, basically. So once you get past the language barrier, I think if you get past the language barrier and you could kind of teach them and show them that the collective isn't the best thing for you, basically. The collective isn't the best thing for the individual, especially if the collective is ran by a bunch of, you know, numbskulls or whatever, which is usually the case, kind of like a homeowners association or whatnot. But I think that's the primary thing China is mostly scared about. I think people want to be free. They don't want to be told what to do for the rest of their lives, and they want to have some choice. And at least have some say in local politics and stuff like that. But it's just kind of sad that China's working so hard to build this great, or they've already built it basically with the help of some of our companies, Google or whatnot. It's really sad that they can't have access to information that is, I want to say, diverse from multiple viewpoints or whatnot. And the funny thing is most of the Chinese people that move here from, you know, mainland China, they thrive. They do very well here. They run good businesses or whatever. They thrive. They succeed well. They do very well here. And they usually don't go back. DOJ leaders said that an internal review found no evidence of racial bias in the program. Proponents of the China initiative additionally said that it was difficult to avoid such perception, as the CCP intentionally targets people of Chinese heritage living abroad to aid in illicit activity, basically. So I think, you know, I've talked about this before. I think the main thing to deal with the Chinese communists is we have to appeal to their persuasion with their ego and corruption and stuff, the likelihood of corruption and turning on the Communist Party, basically. It's something that they they're kind of all watching each other, but I think appealing to their greed, bribing them or whatever. I think the communist people are so easy to corrupt and lose their loyalty with, you know, financial stuff, greed, whatever. I think that it's probably the easiest form of government to corrupt, basically. I mean, you know, if you could somehow buy out the Chinese party, the Chinese Communist Party leaders or whatever, it wouldn't surprise me if like 2/3 of them or 90% of them would take a huge check and move to the United States under a new identity or something like that. So it wouldn't surprise me. I don't see this system lasting or appealing to individual needs as much as as much as Western values. So I think that would be the way I would persuade them. I think through greed and appeal to their to the desire for individuality. Basically, I think that would be the number one thing. Anyways, let's go on to business and markets here. I want to see what else is going on as far as Epoch Times. I'll cover some other news here too. So, Russia uses new laser weapons in Ukraine. Interesting. Directed energy weapons. Russia uses new laser weapons in Ukraine. Russia on Wednesday said it was using a new generation of powerful laser weapons in Ukraine to burn up drones, deploying some of the Moscow secret weapons to counter a flood of Western arms supplying to its former Soviet neighbor. Drones are hard to take down because they're small and you can't see them most of the time. I have a drone here that's probably, 12 or 13 inches into, maybe 13 or 14 inches square, basically. And once it goes up maybe about 200 or 300 feet, you can't even hear it or see it, basically. So I guess lasers are probably the best way of taking them out. It'd be kind of so it'd be hard to shoot them if you don't know they're there, basically. So new intercontinental ballistic missile, underwater nuclear drones, a supersonic weapon, and new laser weapons. Oh, that's great. It sounds like some really scary weapons, and I'm pretty sure Putin is capable of using them. So this is why we have to stop agitating him. They still have Russia. I don't support what they're doing, but they still have their right to sovereignty and their ability to not be threatened by bioweapons and stuff like that. I suspect the COVID thing that happened, it probably freaked Putin out. And I think Putin, along with everybody else, is thinking, like, what's the next generation of bioweapons? Well, what else is CRISPR going to make? Can it get worse? Probably. It probably can get worse. The bioweapons that were the evidence he released regarding the U.S. ran bioweapons in Ukraine, he did release the evidence that he claimed was evidence. Hopefully it's, I hate to say it, I hope it's not true, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was. The dark labs that were being made there with the bioweapons, I think some of them were. This is like disgusting. It was like the equivalent of a meth lab, but replace that with viruses and other pathogens. It just looked disgusting. The fact that the people were running these things is just really, really creepy. I don't think these things are going to go away. It's just really sad. It's like everybody's scared of nuclear and stuff like that, but I think bioweapons so far, biological has proven to be much worse and more threatening to the world, basically, because you can't stop it. It's a living organism, so radioactive decays over time. But biological viruses and stuff like that, they just keep on going, basically. So. I just wish they would stop fighting over there. I just feel like internationally, I think everybody's at risk. Basically, this whole issue between Ukraine and Russia has been going on way too long, and we shouldn't be involved over there. Okay, what else is going on in business? I don't know why he's covered in business, but yeah, I just think Putin, and the Russian people deserve their sovereignty, and I don't think they should be. We shouldn't be at war, and I think it's just too much of a risk. Elon Musk responds to Twitter employer mocking his Asperger's syndrome. Elon Musk responded to a Project Veritas video that purported to show a Twitter executive denigrating the billionaire's attempted purchase of the social media platform, while another staff member admitted that a company employees are commie as, that, it was interesting. InfoWars drew the story out regarding Project Veritas. Project Veritas, man, you better look out for those guys. They've been using some pretty insane and pretty awesome reporting techniques. The funny thing is like I think what they're doing is they're using beautiful girls that are in the proximity of these tech executives or whatnot, and they date them and they just record what they're saying. But yeah, that guy said they are super communists, and they're probably put in those places by choice. I don't think they really know what living in a communist country is like. And it's really sad that these tech giants with so much influence are putting their values, at least instead of diversity of ideas and opinions. I mean, you're welcome to talk about communism all you want and all that stuff, but to censor the other ideas is really bad. But I do consider Twitter and these social networks to be, I want to see more of a better business bureau than for speech instead of an actual a true free speech platform. Free speech in the Constitution is covered by the government being able to not tell you to shut up, basically. So as a private citizen, I could tell you to shut up. I'm not the government, basically, but the government, law enforcement, state, federal, whatever, they can't tell you to shut up, basically. That's part of our individual rights, basically. But however, if you're using Twitter, Facebook, whatever, these, LinkedIn, for example, if they tell you to shut up, it's their platform, it's their database, it's their infrastructure or whatnot. So they legally can't tell you to shut up. So, the best thing most people can do is go on networks that do support free speech. So the sad part is I think also there's a bunch of troll bots that are entering these platforms and making stuff up that are making free speech look like it's something that really stinks. And I don't think it is. It's not something that really stinks. It really stinks if you are intentionally making it stinky, basically. And I think there's a lot of troll bots and stuff like that are doing this stuff. Going back to QAnon, I talked about QAnon. I believe QAnon is an AI chatbot. It will be interesting. There is some unsupervised learning platforms that you could type in on the web here, just to show you how powerful they are. You know what? I'm going to run one of those chatbots, right? These unsupervised learning chatbots. This is a really good exercise just to show you how powerful they are and how misleading and stuff like that they can be. So I'm going to look what up. I'm going to take a short break here, and we're going to cover some unsupervised learning AI chatbots that are online via the web. I'll be right back.
iPod goes, Droid goes, Mac goes, Linux goes, servos go, lights go, hydraulics go, dot matrix goes, and this go, and keyboards go. But there's one sound that no one knows. What do the bots say?
This is madness. Bite my shiny metal ass.
I'm an android.
My name is Optimus Prime.
What do the bots say?
Danger, Bill Robinson, danger.
What do the bots say?
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
We are autonomous robotic organisms from
What
the
do the
planet
bots
Cybertron.
say?
Resistance is futile.
I do believe they think I am some sort of god.
Okay, welcome back. I think I found one. These are all over online now. This is one that using OpenAI's GPT-3, I think. I'm going to start querying it. I think I could use this one online. I'm looking it up right now. Actually, this is a good one. Let me go back to a different one. There's something unsupervised learning. I'll look one up here. There's lots of them online. I was messing around with the unsupervised learning chat. Let me switch over to the browser here. This is an unsupervised learning chatbot. Let me see if I can find it here. Okay, I'll look up under text generation with the RNN. Maybe this is one of them. Let's see if we can run this real quick. There's one of them you could enter. There's one interactable online. Okay, text generation API API is backed by a large-scale unsupervised language model that can generate paragraphs of text. I'm going to zoom in on this one. Okay, this is one of them I've used before. This is kind of funny playing around with. I'm going to zoom in on this one. So this transformer-based language model based on the GPT-2 model by OpenAI. OpenAI has a GPT-3 out now. I suspect QAnon is ran by GPT-3. I don't know who runs GPT-3. I don't know who trained that bot, but you can see how text can be generated in weird ways. Okay, so I think this is actually a predictive text inquiry. Okay, so let's just say how many people in Memphis? They probably spelled that wrong. Let me fix that. Let me see what it generates here. I think this is just predicting what I'm going to say. Generate text, complete paragraphs. Let's try this. I think this is a predictive text one. I think. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, so this is what it's generating. Now, how many people in Texas are working in the university? Here, what I have to say about it. Let me see here. This is text prediction, complete paragraphs. Okay, this one is not what I'm looking for. I might have to switch over to this. I have to find the... there's an article here on Wired that's covering it, basically. Can AI generate convincing text? Yes, it can. Most of the online articles are generated by AI now, believe it or not. So... let me take another break. Let me find the one that I was using before. So I'm going to take another break here. I'm going to find this.
iPod goes, Droid goes, Mac goes, Linux goes, servos go, lights go, hydraulics go, dot matrix goes, and disk go, and keyboards go. But there's one sound that no one knows. What do the bots say?
This is madness.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
I'm an android.
My name is Optimus Prime.
What do the bots say?
Danger, Bill Robinson, danger.
What do the bots say?
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
We are autonomous robotic organisms from
What
the
do the
planet
bots
Cybertron.
say?
Resistance is futile.
I do believe they think I am some sort of god.
Okay, this is AI Dungeon. I think let's go ahead and generate this one. This is I think this is using GPT-3. Let's go to a fantasy. Select a character. Let's do a rogue. Let's call it John. See if you can see this here. So now it's generating a story about John. You are John, a rogue living in the kingdom of Larion. You have a long steel dagger and a length of rope. You walk down the city street looking for someone to steal from you. You look around and see a large house in the distance. It had lots of windows and lights are inside. Remember that the back door is locked and you decide to make a good place. Actually, this is a, you know what? I'm going to cover this a different day. I think this is enough for tonight. So anyways, thanks for watching the Mr. Robots podcast. I'm going to screw around with these deep learning networks. I'll find it. I accessed, I applied for OpenAI's new visualization deep learning SDK. So I may get access to that. I think they're choosing about 1,000 people. That SDK is basically, it generates images based upon text, basically. So it's kind of like an AI imagination. I want to screw around with that when I get access to that. If I get access to that, I'll broadcast some videos regarding that. It's kind of trippy, some of the stuff they're generating. So I'm going to do that. We'll see if I get access to that in the next few weeks. But for the most part, let me get back to you on these deep learning chatbots. There's some pretty interesting stuff that they do that I do want to demonstrate. So anyways, thank you very much for watching the Mr. Robots podcast. I am your host, Steve Thomas.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go.